Well, hello guys, welcome back. It's like 2 in the morning, so I apologize for how I look, but I'm gonna make you a little quick video on Loki being a god of love and compassion and, peace actually. I know we've discussed very often his more destructive properties, but he was also the very first god to say, we have to light the candles, we have to make the offerings, we have to, pray for those passing over. We have to, comfort and open communication with all the gods that would watch over young people, and any gods that might be associated with the holiday or anything else, and just be very general with the energy, so that if it's like connecting to some god's energy, even if we don't work with them, it's going to help them. It's not going to be like this is specifically from this god here, or this is just general loving energy going out and help them on their way and help the people heal, and help the country heal and help the world heal. There's going to come a change. There is, and that isn't me having some prophecy from Apollo. Anytime we go through times of great violence, we also have, thankfully, an upsurge of peace and upsurge of people, that see this, that the violence, it does not solve anything. And even though it can feel very weak to choose love and to choose peace, it's actually the stronger path, because it is harder in our human nature to choose love, to choose compassion, to choose peace. It's very human now to, want to scream for justice and want to scream for harsh penalties and everything else, and that's not my outlook. That's up to the justice system. But we have to remember to have compassion towards, ourselves, towards the victims, towards the kids in our society that are neglected and they see no other way out, towards the people that are neglected and are heading down a wrong path. And we have to have the kind of society where those people don't feel left out, where they don't feel neglected, where everything isn't so competitive. Some people just simply can't or won't compete, and then they get shoved to the sidelines and they're not loved and they're not listened to. When I was a tutor, I would usually be given the kids that would work with no one else, because I would just listen. 90% of my job was just listening, because the parents weren't listening, the teachers weren't listening, the counselors were a joke. That isn't to say there aren't wonderful parents and there aren't wonderful teachers and there aren't wonderful counselors. There are, but there are far too few of them. And I know as an adult, it's very easy to let a kid get on your last nerves and think they're just going through some kind of teenage or tween drama and tell them shut up and not listen. It's hard. Kids need to have a place where they can go and talk to peers, where they can go and talk to adults that will care, where they can be safe, where they can be loved, where they can be heard. They don't feel that they're heard. And then they get involved with the wrong kind of people, and that's when trouble starts. This will not be an instant solution. You're not going to turn everything around in one day, but we do need to change. We do need to change as a people. We need to start caring. We need to start getting more involved. If you have kids, start getting involved. Start doing that parenting thing. And I'm not telling you how to parent your kids, but you know what I mean. See it, tell them they can really come and talk to you. And, make sure they don't feel that if they tell you something you're not going to understand or you're not going to love them or something. You remember how scary it was being a kid. You would have stuff you couldn't tell your parents, And if you feel they can't talk to you and they can't talk to a counselor, see if they have like a kid that has good head on their shoulders that they can talk to. And this has nothing to do, with religion. It's, for me, it's wonderful that I have Loki to work with, but, love is a universal thing. You don't have to have any religion to have love and compassion and kindness. But Loki was the first one to rally and say we must, make things right, to do our thing. And what we like to do, meditation, is to put on positive music and to just, let that love flow through you and release that out in a general manner. You don't have to release it specifically towards one thing, though. Like tonight we were, releasing it towards Florida, towards the victims, towards, the victims' families and everyone else, so that, healing can begin, so that they can begin to process this tragedy, but also towards, the country in general and the world in general, so this doesn't happen again. And we need to, hold our government accountable and say, why aren't you passing sensible gun laws? We didn't say take away everyone's guns. We said sensible gun laws. Why aren't you, setting up our school systems in a way that teaches children that they have a safe place to go and be heard? I know I sound like a radical hippie, but I don't care. And it's going to mean a change for a lot of us too, because our kids do watch us and they do look up to us, and it's hard for a lot of us because we grew up, depending on when you grew up, you either grew up with that really peaceful vibe or you grew up with that really violent, I love war side. And it isn't going to be an overnight transformation for any of us, but we have to go more towards promoting love and peace. I mean, it's for the children, and it's worth it for the children. I am usually like the worst grouch, and I have the worst temperament on the planet. But, if even I can say that we have to have more love and more peace, I'm not saying you can't get angry. I'm not saying you can't get upset or sad or feel despair at times. Of course, we're all human. But start surrounding yourself with positive people. If you see people that are truly negative and truly angry at the world, and they don't want to be reached, then you're not the person to reach them. The next person might reach them. And one thing Loki had to teach me is that I can't save the world. I can't go off tilting at windmills and trying to save every person I meet, or you know what I mean. You as a human being, you want to help people. Anything you perceive as a trouble, you want to solve it for them. But we can't do that. We can't play armchair psychologist or what. But we can listen to one another, and we can support one another. And peace is definitely the answer. It's definitely better to have peace and love and to work towards world peace. And then we can all have stupid discussions about, I don't know, stupid stuff, because we'll have world peace and we'll have the time, and the children will be able to play outside, and it'll be utopia. One can only hope. So, if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. But look, he's a good guy. He does have that sweet, loving, hopeful side to him. He didn't despair. He didn't give in to sadness. There will be time for being sad. There will be time for having memorials. But we also have to hold on to hope that we can learn, and we can learn to love one another, and we can learn to have tolerance. And there's a whole other issue about what tolerance means and how it doesn't mean tolerating, something that will lead to destruction. But that's a whole other video entirely. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.